Hey folks, so today I'm going to do a video off of a comment that I received from a subscriber named Meowsers. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If not, forgive me. Uh, but they asked the question, what is your point of view towards people who are ready to check out of this world, but who are held back by fear of the pain of dying and fear of causing suffering to loved ones? Um, that I've wanted to do a video on this topic and I forgot about it completely. So thank you for bringing this back up to my memory because I totally forgot about this. Um, it is a very hard topic to really address because it's so multi-layered, it's so real, it's so tangible. I relate very strongly to this predicament. And really, there is no easy answer to it because the individual who wants to leave this world, but who feels trapped, whether it's through the fear of the pain of dying or the fear of causing pain of suffering to loved ones, those are very deep and sincere fears, and they have value, they have merit. Um, it's just such a shitty cycle to be in because here you are suffering and you want relief for yourself, but at the same time you have these factors working against you, whether it's fear of the pain, fear of causing pain to loved ones, or just the overbearing power of the survival mechanism. And I think that we often do underestimate that quite a bit. This innate ability of humans to just live even in the worst and hellish conditions, just to keep going. And I don't think it's done consciously. I think that these mechanisms are in us that keep us in this program, and they are there to do just that. Whether we endure extreme pain, whether we are enduring constant years of misery, these things are just hard to override. And the people who actually go through and do commit suicide, they've had to really be in immeasurable pain, or at least have the willpower, the sheer will to deny that function and break that failsafe. But it really is a challenge, and it just shows you what we're up against in this life. That a person can be born and whatever circumstances in that person's life that causes them to feel like they want out, yet they have to endure it because of all these fail safes that are in their way. It's a different kind of torture. It's a different kind of torture. I can use myself for an example. I have lived for 29 years on this planet. And when I tell you that for 20 years of my life, I've been in pain. It's been suffering for 20 years, nonstop. One thing after the other. Childhood was crap. It wasn't anything that my family did because I have a very good family, thankfully. I don't have any issues with my biological family, but the circumstances of my childhood and the things I had to endure otherwise, um, and onwards into my adulthood, it's been nonstop problems. And I can't tell you how many days I've had to sit and cry and wail because I wanted to check out of this cruel game. But because I have um, this kind of empathy, ironically, even toward my family, and I feel bad about creating their suffering with my purposeful death. And then you have on top of that this biological urge to continue living, even in the face of all these horrendous tortures. You do feel trapped, and I have felt trapped, and oftentimes still do feel trapped in a body that I just don't want to be in. I feel like you could endure so much and the way out might seem so clear to you, but it seems like there are always, obstacles to cross to try to get over the hurdle to reach the exit. And it seems like even when you want to do it, you just can't. for whatever reason, and you just feel miserable. It's a double punishment. That's the best way that I can describe it. It feels like double punishment, a torture that is unparalleled, because not only are you suffering um, in your body or in your life, you're also suffering emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You're just suffering on all levels. And that really fucking sucks. And I don't wish it on anybody really, uh, except the people who continue this cycle of bringing people into this world and to experience these things. They should be the first ones to experience the pain that they inflict on others in this selfish rat race that leads nowhere. But I wish I had an easy answer. I wish I had an answer that worked for all of us. I wish I had a solution. And the painful reality of life is that in these kind of sufferings, there really is no solution to it. What you are left with is having to endure an insufferable situation. But at the same time, this insufferable struggle has often emboldened me to promote this message even more than what I would have, because I see that this has happened in my life and I see that it's happening in other people's lives. And I want to do everything I possibly can to help prevent it from happening to another child's life. Because, all the circumstances and pains and sufferings that we all face collectively, we're not going to be the last ones to endure them. Every child born into this world is going to suffer the same kind of things that we have, and some to even greater degrees. And it's so crushing to look at this system, to look at this world and see that all of this shit just repeats. All the suffering, all the pain, all the struggles that we go through, somebody else is going to be born and go through those exact same struggles, exact same pains and tortures. It's like this revolving wheel, and it just needs to be destroyed. It needs to be stopped. And that's my aim personally. I'll do whatever I can to help end this, because it needs to go. But it just sucks that this is the shit that we have to deal with. This is the reality of life that we have, where people are thrust quite literally into existence against their will, and then are made to endure lives that they don't even want. And a double whammy, not only do you have to endure lives that you don't want, you have to pay for lives that you don't want. Everything revolves around fucking money, and you having to have resources and all these other needs on top of your internal struggles, your internal pains and griefs and sorrows. This shit, it's torturous. I mean, I can't find another word for it other than sadistic and torturous, this existence. And this is why I'm so emboldened against it. This is why I'm never going to lose my fight to promote this message. I don't care if the whole of humanity never gets it. And see, that's another thing that I have to address, because some people think that just because all of humanity won't all of a sudden change their mind, they think that it's useless to promote this message. Well, that's one way to go about it. If you just want to just sit back and do nothing at all and just, not even give an effort to help end the problem, sure. I mean, you have a right to do that, but why not at least fight? Why not at least try to reach somebody? Because even one person reached is another person saved from being born into this world. And so pain prevented, misery prevented, death prevented is always a victory. I don't care if it's one person or two. So, it's just, we have to do what we have to do in this world. We have to try our best to make our lives comfortable if we can, because not all of us have the ability to do that. So many of us struggle and suffer in silence. Many of us don't have the resources to enjoy lives that we would want to enjoy or live. And people talk about coping. You can only cope so much. I mean, there are only so many things that you can do to relieve this stress. And then that wears out. And what you have left is the unavoidable nature of this existence, which is suffering. And you have to sit there and endure that. And I guess that, you know, some people, they reach a point where they cross that threshold where these biological fail safes do fail. And they come to the conclusion, hey, you know what? It's just not worth it. And I'm going to exit stage left. And I don't blame them. As a matter of fact, I think these are the most courageous people on this planet. I think that they have achieved something that is extraordinary, really. You know, you have to overcome that kind of fear, overcome uh, that kind of instinct to survive, just to get out of a shitty game that you had no say so in the first place. Quite literally taking your own fate into your own hands. But it's just sad that that would even have to be the reality of this life and of so many lives in this world, you know. And I wish things were different. But the best thing I can say to anybody who struggles like me in that regard of feeling trapped in this place, you know, I think we should at least try our best to make our lives however comfortable as we possibly can within our power, you know. Um, yeah, I can't say much else because there's just no real easy effective solution to this kind of problem, except except to come to the understanding that it happened to you, but let it stop with you. Don't breed another life into this world to pass on this same misery and to repeat this same struggle for nothing. That much you can do, and that has significant change.